All right, guys, welcome back to the channel, to the Real Talk podcast. Today, I have a very special guest. You have seen him on the channel quite a number of times. I know I say special a lot, but this man lives in Scotland, so of course he's going to get the special treatment. Go ahead and introduce yourself, my friend.
Well, of course you called me special because I'm fucking special. It's Hayzink.
Yeah, it's very similar to Periodic's intro yesterday.
Is it?
Yeah, he was like, yeah, this is special because I'm here. And, yeah, you gents are very funny guys, man, and it's fun to finally have you on here. I mean, if not many people knew. I mean, we've been talking for fucking months, honestly. So it's finally cool to get you on here, and I'm sorry that it took so long. It says
All
bloody
right,
hell,
man.
man. I just get kind of, it gets hard trying to balance so many things. But my schedule is finally back to normal with like work. That's the other thing too. I jumped jobs 3 times in the last like 2 months, so getting date like now I have a set days off, so you guys could expect more podcasts and just expect more collabs in general. But that's not what we're gonna be talking about
How
today.
do you do more uploads than you already do, for God's sake?
I don't sleep, dude. Like I told you, I sacrifice a lot of my sleep to make sure I get my uploads set. Yeah,
That's the way to
honest.
do it, man.
Yeah,
That's
that's
the
how
way
I
to do
do
it.
it, bro. Like you noticed, you messaged me like it was like 3 in the morning my time, and you were like, "Yo, you're still up?" I'm like, "Yeah."
I just woke up in my bed. I'd been talking to you before I went to bed. I woke up and you were still. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, dude. I just kind of don't sleep a whole lot. I was up late with Hydros last night, just kind of talking crap, and that's just kind of how it is too, dude. I just don't sleep a whole lot. But thankfully, with his new job, I start pretty late in the day. So and then, of course, when the days off kick in, I have a lot more time. And I got a lot of my errands done today, which is the first time in a week since I've been able to really leave the house. That's another thing not many people know about me. I don't leave the house much because of YouTube. So yeah, I guess I could finally start having a little bit of a life. But that enough talking about me. I brought the boy Hayzink here. He's a very interesting guy, super cool dude, drug mafia guy. No, I'm just kidding. No,
That was a long time. That was a long time ago.
yeah, no, I'm just kidding, guys. Just kidding.
If only they'd seen our Discord conversations.
Yeah, yeah, the Discord conversations are very special. But first thing I always ask everybody that I bring on the podcast, and I've talked about you a couple times, but I'm sure some of your viewers or even Nolar or Son would be interested in hearing like what music you listen to, because surprisingly it's not metal. I don't know why I always got like the metalhead vibe for me, but it's completely opposite. So go ahead and talk about some of your music tastes, man.
Um, Band wise, when I was young, my favourite band was Oasis. I don't know how big Oasis actually were in America. We always heard over here that they were cracking America. They were doing really well in America, but I don't actually know, like as an American, how big Oasis actually got. I mean, did they get big over there or
I've never heard of Oasis.
what?
Well,
Oh,
remember, well, mind you. Okay, so to be fair, when I grew up, my dad only like it was every day because my parents got divorced when I was younger. Every time he would come pick me up, all I listened to was Metallica and Iron Maiden and
yeah.
Rush, Queen, Led Zeppelin, uh, Steely Dan. He's a huge Steely Dan fan. Like the '80s rock, a lot of the hair bands like Rat, Twisted Sister. Like that was like what I grew up with. So I never really got exposed to like hip hop or rap or electronic music till I was like in high school.
Oasis were an indie band. Oasis were a
Yeah,
the
never
whole
got yeah.
terminology of them were Britpop, like Oasis, Blur, stuff like that. You never heard of Wonderwall or Don't Look Back in Anger. You've not heard any of those songs.
No man, I actually have it. You gotta
Jesus
send me
Christ.
them.
I will. Whether you like them or not, I don't know. But I mean, over here, Oasis were a massive band. Um, What's the Story, Morning Glory? I think is the biggest selling album in the world, and I think that includes like the Billboard charts and stuff like that as well. I think it sold something like 46 million copies or something like that. I sold some crazy amount of albums, back when you actually had to go to a shop to buy a CD. Some of you people actually listening to this podcast probably don't know what we're talking about because all they've done all their life is download music. But yeah, that's right. You did actually have to go to a shop and buy music. In fact, I've got a funny feeling you had this conversation with Nola about going
Yeah,
to record shops and
yes.
buying music.
Yeah, we did
But
talk
no,
about that.
Oasis were like the actual band that I was into when I was young, but predominantly I was into dance music. I was into like hardcore, like proper nosebleed stuff. Hard trance, hard style. I still do. I mean, I was at the shops today and I was listening to some like 189 beats a minute, proper hardcore music. I mean, I can't really name any bands because it just becomes noise after a while. But I like it. I can't really explain what I like about it, but I just like fast, frantic dance music.
I mean, it's not bad. I mean, I definitely
It's
got to.
actually quite similar to metal in a way. I was thinking about this today when I was listening to it, and I was thinking, well, in America, in America, in metal music, you sort of a thrash, and it's the whole like dung 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 that gets you going. It's the same kind of idea with dance music, like with a really fast beat. It's hard to describe, but it's just the kind of feeling it gives you. But you get from metal music because it's the same sort of a thing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, I get. It's like the same kind of like fast pace, the
Yeah,
energy,
yeah.
stuff like that, and which I completely get. And some music definitely replicates that. I gotta check it out and give it a chance. I guess I haven't really, because again, I've always
I
just been glued to the
don't think you'd
same.
like it. I've got a feeling. I've got a feeling that if I sent you a couple of bits of the music that I like, you would just be like, "What the fuck are you listening to?" My
Yeah.
wife hears me listening to it, and she's like, "What shite do you listen to?" She used to listen to dance music. No, she used to listen to dance music when we were younger, but not the extent that I did. Like, because you get hardcore had different grades. You had something called happy hardcore, which was a lot more. It wasn't poppy, but it was a lot more like mellow, but still quite frantic and fast paced. But it had like tunes and sometimes it had singing, it had riffs, it had melodies. Whereas hardcore is just just constant that. Do you know what I mean? And it'd be like you're just listening to noise, man. Just turn that off. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah. So she was never really a fan of my music. She did like Oasis, but she doesn't really like them now. And I don't think she likes the band per se because they were just massive cokeheads that were just from Manchester that talked a lot of shit and they weren't exactly nice people. But I like them.
I feel that, man. I definitely get where you're coming from. So no, okay. So I got to jump on this and give it a shot, and I will be sending you some bands later. Since you like more of the instrumental stuff, a lot of the music I listen to is mainly instrumental. Like, there's so many metal
Mm.
bands now, like Intervals, Pellini, Emos as leaders. I think they kind of like come in between. They have a lot of instrumental songs, but they also have a lot of screaming in it. I like those guys a
I don't
lot.
like. I don't like screaming, man. I don't like screaming. I like Muse. I really, really, really like Muse.
Yeah, they're good.
I know Muse isn't. I know Muse isn't probably hard enough for you, but honestly, in later on in my life, Muse has become one of my favourite bands. I really, really like Muse. Some of their guitar solos are fantastic. I just think they're really, really good, man.
Yeah, no, they're actually super solid, dude. I'm a big fan of Muse. So okay, so you've been mostly into indie. Did you ever get into like I mean, Metallica's huge. Did you ever get into Metallica at all?
No,
No, no. You
I
just
don't. I never. I mean, when it came to bands, I mean, one of my friends when I was young, he was into like, funnily enough, his name's John. My name's John as well, which is a reveal to everybody. People don't know that. But he was into Cradle of Filth and stuff like that. And
oh shit, yeah. Cradle of
really,
Filth is metal.
I'd be like, what
Yeah,
the
no, I'm
fuck?
not okay. I'm not too
It
into
sounded,
like.
it sounded like people worshipping Satan for fuck's sake. I was like, what is this shit you're listening to?
Well,
And he was into all this
that
stuff,
genre really
man.
is close to that. So
Fair enough. But he was into it, wasn't he just Cradle of Filth? He went into this phase where he was listening to all sorts of that shit. And I'd sit in his house and I'd be like, turn this piss off. It just didn't do it for me. The metal scene in Glasgow, at least, the metal scene wasn't huge. There was one, there is, I mean, I think it still exists. Julie, it still exists, doesn't it? Cat House? There's one club in, sorry, I'm just asking my wife, but
no,
there's
you're
one
good.
club in Glasgow. It's a metal club and it's called the Cat House. People won't know this, right? But you never know. There might be somebody from Scotland that listens to this. And it's in the city centre of Glasgow. And that's where you would go if you were into metal music, I mean, when I was younger, it would be goths and emos that we would. Well, wouldn't even emos wasn't even a thing back then. You were just all goths. If you listened to music like that, you dressed in black, you painted your nails black, you were a goth. That's just what it was. Do you know what I mean? And we were all the people that were going to nightclubs and chewing our faces off, and they were going to get steaming and mosh away in the cat house. That was the kind of scene in Glasgow at that point.
Okay, okay, that's sick.
I never went. No, my wife's been a few times, but I never went. Wasn't my scene.
Okay, okay. Did you ever go to those clubs and parties, man? Did you? I think that's
Yeah,
one question I want to ask. Did you ever have?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, man. I'd, I've always looked older. So when I was 15, I used to go to the dancings in the city centre, and I would pass for legal. They would never ID me, and I'd go in at 15 and get absolutely shit faced and just do stuff that I shouldn't be doing, doing stuff that you shouldn't be doing even when you're my age you are just now. My youth was a bit misspent. I'll be honest. I've got nothing to hide. It was a long time ago, but yeah, man, I used to go to those parties. I used to have a flat at one point when I was 17, and I had see the kind of speakers you would get on stage, like the big, massive, fucking like 2,000 watt speakers. I had two of them in my house, and I had a set of DJ decks, and I used to have house parties like all the fucking time with like 20, 30 people in my house. My neighbours must have absolutely loved me. My first flat, and it was ridiculous, man. Just the things I could tell you about that house, man, it was just insane.
I'm a little shocked. You know, you just make dope con videos and we got a party. No, I mean I've had my crazy times.
Oh no, I couldn't keep up anymore, man. But like back then, it was mental stuff you shouldn't be doing. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah, I don't think I went that far. I mean, I used to go to clubs and stuff like that, but yeah, I don't know how far my man here went. You've lived a pretty crazy life, dude.
No, I did when I was young. Not for a long time though, man. But like definitely when I was younger, I was getting up to all sorts of things that I shouldn't have been getting up to. It's just how it was. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
my job was quite sketchy at the time.
Oh look! Oh, so we are talking to someone from the mafia.
Meh, no, I wouldn't quite go that far, but yeah, I mean it was pretty illegal.
Oh boy, who do we got on this podcast, guys? No, I feel that, man. I feel that. No, I had a lot.
Statute of limitations is well and truly passed.
Yeah, no, I mean, I never dabbed too much into stuff like that, but I definitely had a lot of friends who did like shady things, you know, just underground stuff. So I get it, and I've seen people work in that kind of industry, getting like the vibe. And of course, a lot like, fortunately, some of them got arrested, some of them pulled out of that business, you know, at the smart time. Because the one thing I could always say is that no matter how smooth you can be in any illegal business, you always get caught. And sometimes you just have to be able to say, "Oh, you know what? I'm gonna pull out." And
So you don't always get caught.
oh, you could get, you know,
You do
you could get taken out too.
No, it was nothing like that, man. Fuck's sake, I wasn't a hitman or anything like that. It's just dodgy CDs and stuff like that. If you get my vibe, that's just what it was when I was younger.
I feel that. I feel that. Dude, honestly, man, let's not do illegal. Oh, we can't go back to that lifestyle, man.
No, certainly not, man. Certainly not. Dokkan all the way. No modding, no
Yeah, yeah,
hacking.
yeah. Dokkan, take care of your wife, take care of your life. You know, that's what it should be right now. And we're a bit too old to be. Oh no, there's a lot of guys our age are still, you know.
Our age.
Yeah.
Our age, really.
Oh
Our
yeah,
age.
you're a little older than me.
I fucking am, man. A little. I think I'm like, what, 12 years older
Oh yeah,
than
I
you?
forgot. Yeah, yeah. No, you're like what, 39?
Nearly 39. I'm 39 in February.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
Getting there. I'm getting on in my years.
I thought you were the oldest guy, bro, but I don't know how old Periodic is, but he's up there too.
Well, I don't know either. I'm curious to know. I think Ninja's in his 30s. I don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah, Ninja is in his
I've tried to
30s.
gauge it from his posts, but I think Ninja's younger than me. I don't know by how much, but I think he's maybe only 35. Maybe less than that, but I don't think he's over that.
No, and I'm damn, I'm
No,
definitely a
no
young
Lar,
one.
obviously. No Lar, obviously, we discovered. I think he said he was, what, 34, 33, 34.
Oh, that's exclusive here on the
No,
Real Talk Podcast.
he said it on my video, did he not? Oh,
I
shit.
I don't
No,
remember.
I never said that. We'll take that back, right? No, no Lar's 62.
Yeah, he's 78.
His choice of, with his choice of car, you know he's older anyway. Ooh.
Oh boy, yeah, you're hitting him up with those hard
That's
ones.
fine. That's fine. I said it to him. I said it to him myself, man. You know, he knows I'm just taking the piss. It's just the way it is with me.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I get it. Nah, dude. All right, so more of the
I
stuff.
did do some. I did do some like more normal things when I was younger. Like I used to be massively into. This is something I touched on with you on Twitter. We can get to it, but like at some point during this. But I used to be massively into collecting, and I still am, but I was a massive Spider-Man geek, and I used to have like. I used to every single week I would go out and I'd go to markets, I'd go to comic fairs, I'd go to stuff like that, and I'd collect old Spider-Man comics, and I had a massive collection. I got rid of it, but a few years ago I started up another collection, and I stopped. But I do have like a sort of a treasure chest type thing in my wife's mum and dad's loft, sitting there of Spider-Man comics. I don't even know what's still in there, but I need to have a look. But I did get into more normal things like that, like collecting comics, and for a while I was collecting Dragon Ball figures and pop figures and stuff like that as well.
Okay, so you did have some normal stuff, and I know you liked Nintendo as well, right? For the most part.
Uh, no, actually, I was a Sega kid all the way. 100%, I was a Sega kid. Fuck Nintendo. I like Nintendo now, right? But when I was young, I would have like had a fight with you in the playground that the Mega Drive was better than the Super Nintendo. Nowadays, I do realise that Mario is. Oh god, people are going to hate me for saying this. Mario is probably a superior game to Sonic. Like overall,
No.
but
Unfortunately,
when
I
I was
have to admit
younger,
it. I have to admit it too. Of course, dude. I mean,
but when I was younger, Sonic all the way, man. Sonic was just the best thing ever. When I was a kid, I just thought Sonic was fantastic. I thought the Mega Drive just crapped all over the Super Nintendo. I thought people that had a Super Nintendo were sad.
yeah.
um, but when you actually look back at it, if you look at the Super Nintendo's library and you look at the Mega Drive's library, the Super Nintendo was hands down the better machine.
Yeah. No way. The
Yeah.
Genesis was better than the Super Nintendo.
Right, just to clear this up for people not watching, the Sega Mega Drive is the Sega Genesis. In the UK and in Japan, it was called the Sega Mega Drive. For some reason in America, you guys have always got to be special and you need to rename things, and you decided to call it
Yeah, it's because of
the
the Sega team. We have two different teams.
but it's the same
Oh,
console.
the
Just in case
American
anybody
team. Yeah.
knows there, it's the same console. I think you guys called the Super Nintendo the Super Famicom, which we just called the Super NES.
No, we just called it Super SNES as well.
I thought it was called the Famicom.
No. I mean, I always called it the SNES or yeah. Mainly it was a SNES.
All right, I always thought it was called the Super Famicom, and it was grey and purple, whereas ours was grey and it had the green, yellow, blue, and red buttons, whereas you guys had the two purple buttons and the two grey buttons on your controller.
Yeah, no. I mean, it was about. I don't think I've ever given it any other names, to be honest, dude.
Yeah, I always thought you named it something different. Well, there you go. You learn something new every day. Every day's a school day.
But no, yeah, I grew up with the Sega Genesis as well. Actually, my dad bought me the Genesis and Sonic 2, so that was like primarily what I played mostly as a kid. And then, I think for my 5th birthday was when my grandfather gifted my mom the money to buy me an N64. So I had a Sega Genesis and an N64 pretty near, like neck and neck. And
I can
then,
tell. I can ask you one question right
yeah,
now,
yeah,
and it'll prove whether or not you were really a Sega fan and a Sonic fan.
okay,
Are you ready? Are you ready?
yeah,
So you can't Google. I can hear if you type on your keyboard, right?
okay.
If you're a real Sega kid and you were really a Sega kid when you were young, off the top of your head, you should still know the level select cheat for Sonic.
Up, down, left, right, B start. Up, down, down. Up, B start for Sonic 3. And Sonic and Knuckles on the little thing where you go up and down in uh, Mushroom Valley. You press left, right, up, B start. You hear a ring chime, and then you go back to the main menu, and you could do debug mode, and you could play as Hypersonic with dropping the little box.
All right, okay,
For
fine,
the
fine, fine. I believe you. I believe you.
hold on. I can keep going. For Sonic 2,
No, I just wanted to know the level select cheat, not the fucking debug code, for fuck's sake. Right, okay, you passed.
For Sonic 2, you could do 19, 65, 9, 17 for level select. Then it was 4, 1, 2, 6 for all Chaos Emeralds. And then it was 1, 9, 9, 2, 1, 2, 4 for debug mode in Sonic 2. Yes, dude.
You know the level select code for Sonic 1, and you just told me to cheat for every single Sonic game
Yeah.
ever made, right? I believe you. It's fine.
Yep. Yep.
That was Sonic was cool. Sonic was definitely cool.
I've replayed the classics at least 1,000 times over, like over and over and over. I own each game. I own multiple copies of each game. I have all the original Sega Genesis Sonic games. I have them on PS3, PS2, Mega Collections, the GameCube, Sonic, all the Sonic Adventures on across all platforms. Dude, yeah, no, I'm a gigantic Sonic fan. I bought Forces on the PS4, the Nintendo Switch, and I bought it on PC. I've always been a very big Sonic fanatic. Unfortunately, they have let me down for the last 10 years because the last really great Sonic game was Generations. Mania, I would love, Mania's in its own thing because, you had Christian Whitehead really work on that one. And,
Yeah.
I don't even give my hat's tip to Sega on that one because I'm like, no, it wasn't Sega. It was fucking Christian Whitehead and all the guys from the Whitehead team. And,
I bought that. I've got it on my PlayStation 4. I played the first level and I really enjoyed it. I've just never went back to play it. I don't know why. It's not that I don't like it. I do intend to play it at some point. I just never find the time to sit down and play console games anymore. And when I do play games on the console, I play the weirdest fucking games.
you should definitely play Mania because Mania is one of the best 2D it's a blast. I beat that game at least 22 times. Even a joke.
Hands down, 2D Sonic games are the best Sonic games. Like, there's no even disputing it. I mean, people go on and on and on about how Sonic Adventure's like top tier. I don't even think Sonic Adventure comes close to the 2D Sonics. I mean, Sonic Adventure, the first one was a good game, but it's not even in the same league as 2D Sonics, if you ask me. 2D Sonics are just, they just are what they are. They're definitely the best versions of Sonic.
Yeah, I would never disagree with that. Sonic has never truly had a great time in the 3D scape because, honestly, it is a bit difficult trying to mask his gameplay in the 3D environment. I want to say the best games that they did get it hands down was Sonic Adventure 1 Sonic gameplay. It was all the levels were very like open world sandbox type of feels. Are very open and nice. Sonic Adventure 2, everybody loves that one. I don't like the Sonic stages too much in that game because everything's very linear. Doesn't feel very open. I mean, it's fast paced, which is great, but it's still like it's all hallways. And one thing that I do like about Sonic Heroes, for example, a lot of people hate on Heroes. I'm like, dude, Sonic Heroes actually had pretty cool levels. I think they just didn't get the gameplay set because all the characters are very slippery. The acceleration is not the greatest in Heroes, but it's still fine. I mean, I like Heroes, and then obviously the Dark Age of Sonic happened. Sonic Unleashed. What are your thoughts on Sonic Unleashed? Without talking about the Werehog, what did you think about the daytime levels in that game? If you ever played it.
Honest answer, I didn't. By that point, Sonic was dead to me at that point. This is what I'm saying. I loved Sonic. I loved Sonic. I was a Dreamcast fanatic. It broke my heart when the Dreamcast died.
Yeah,
and Sega died as a console manufacturer. I held out hope for years that somehow Sega were going to come back in and do it. And then I think the last Sonic game that I really enjoyed was Sonic Heroes on the GameCube. And then after that, I get fed up of Sonic. I just thought it's just not as good as it used to be. And then they brought out like some of the ports and stuff like that on like the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 3 and stuff, and I started playing the older games again, which are still like Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3, Sonic CD. Sonic CD is a weird one. I like Sonic CD because I had I had a Mega CD. But Sonic CD is weird. I mean, it's a good game, but it's weird, if you know what I'm talking about. If you've played Sonic CD, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's just weird. The way you
Yeah, so
travel
I
back and
actually,
forward through
yeah, I did
time.
like a playthrough of CD recently, and I don't. I love the music in it. I think the music in it,
Yeah.
especially the Japanese version of it, obviously is one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. But CD, it doesn't play as fluently as like Sonic 2 or Sonic 3. It's just very different. I do like the level design, but it's just kind of all over the place, which is it's not really my favorite
Yeah.
2D.
No, I agree.
Like
I
my
agree with
favorite's
that.
always gonna be Sonic 3 and Knuckles. I think that's a pretty basic answer, and most guys will say that. But Sonic 3 and Knuckles was just a super game, dude. You had Super Chaos Emeralds. You had the it was just no, it was Chaos Emeralds. Then you had the Super Emeralds, which was then you could get the hyper versions of Sonic and Knuckles, and they had Super Tails, which was crazy. And then you had the first 6 levels from Sonic 3, and then I think it was about 7 or 8 levels from Sonic and Knuckles. So you had like 14. It was like 14 or 15 different stages. You had the super boss with Death Egg. It was just so much cool stuff, dude. In Sonic 3 and Knuckles, and
Yeah. I mean,
unfortunately,
I hadn't played Sonic for a good while, like I said, and I don't know what came first out of the two of them, but the games that I started playing to get back into Sonic was a lot of people don't like it, but I didn't mind it. Sonic 4, the one they brought out in 2 episodes, episode 1 and episode 2, I actually quite liked them. They weren't fantastic. Sonic didn't feel quite right, but I did enjoy them, and I liked Sonic Generations as well. Talking about 3D Sonic, I didn't mind the 3D parts in that, but obviously I like the 2D parts of it the best. But that was round about when I started playing Sonic games again, and then obviously, like I said, I got Mania. I was really excited for Mania, and then I played it for like 10 minutes, and it got flung onto the pile of shame, which is just I've got probably no joke at least 450 games on my PlayStation 4 that I haven't played.
yeah, I get into the same groove, bro, but not Sonic. Like Mania again, I have played Mania so much, dude. I have played it across the PS4, the Switch, PC. I played it on the Xbox One for a little bit. It's just, dude, it's so good, man, and it's
Mhm.
just, I don't. You got to do it. I mean, today, play it
No,
with
no.
your wife, play it with the kids. Just sit down and give it a shot because again, remember, like I'm sure you're aware, those old 2D side-scrolling games they don't take very long to complete, and Sonic Mania doesn't take very long, dude. My
No, no.
fastest run was like maybe 2.5 hours. Like you could beat it
That's
pretty
quite
quickly.
that's quite quick. I mean, the games I play but are quite not. I wouldn't say weird. I did say weird at the start, right? But they're not really. Funnily enough, having listened to you talking to Sunblade, my tastes are a lot like his.
Like
I love
Metro,
Street
so you
Fighter.
like Metroid as well?
I don't not Metroid, Castlevania.
Okay, okay.
But obviously they're in the same vein because they took on that whole Metroidvania scheme of things. But I like Symphony of the Night and stuff like that. There's a game called Rogue Legacy which came out that was a sort of a Metroidvania, but it's a roguelike one, which was an awesome game. I love 2D fighters. I've always loved Street Fighter. Street Fighter has always been up there as like a top tier game for me ever since Street Fighter 2. I've just always loved Street Fighter. Street Fighter Alpha 3 is probably my favourite. I do like Street Fighter 4 as well and Street Fighter 5, but Street Fighter Alpha 3 is probably my favourite. I don't know why. There's just something about that game that I really like. I like Mortal Kombat. I like Dragon Ball Z fighters. A lot of people don't like fighters for some reason, but I do. Marvel versus Capcom, stuff like that. I really enjoy them. And strangely enough, I really, really enjoy the Resident Evil series as well. So I mean, I don't get me wrong. Resident Evil, when it went a wee bit more action orientated, run about Resident Evil 5, Resident Evil 6, and that, I got a wee bit. Then Resident Evil 7 came back around and it went back towards more horror. It got better. But for me, I still reckon the first 3 Resident Evils are probably the best. I just like classic Resident Evil. But yeah, I think my tastes are quite a lot like his when it comes to gaming.
Yeah, yeah, no, and those are all really great games, dude. But do you? And I'm sure you get into the same groove of this, but do you get to play games much anymore, man?
Not as Not as much, but it's not really due to circumstance. I mean, I have for my Christmas last year. I've had a few, right, but I kept getting rid of my Vita because I kept falling out with the Vita.
Oh,
But
you have
then
a
for my
Vita?
Christmas last year, yeah, for my Christmas last year, my wife got me an orange Vita because I love orange things. So she got me an orange Vita, which is like a Japanese version. And for my birthday, she got me a 3DS. Well, it's a 2DS, but it's a 3DS. Do you know what I mean? I've got both of them. I've got a PS4. I've got a Nintendo Switch. I mean, I've got a gaming PC. It's just, I don't know. I just find it hard to settle down to play a game when every time you look at Netflix, there's something else you want to watch, or you look at Amazon Prime, there's something else you want to watch, and you're just like, oh, I want to watch this. I watch so many shows about fucking serial killers. I think I'm going to become a serial killer one day. I just put on Netflix and something just seems interesting, and then I end up binging it. And then I go on phases where I'll watch loads and loads of anime. Like there was a period this year or last year, I think it was this year, where I just literally watched an anime series. I said to the wife, that was good. Can I put another one on? She went, do what you want. I put another one on. We binged that. And it comes to a point as well where she gets hooked into them as well. And it's like, no, just put the next one on. Just put the next one on. We sat and watched one called Monster. I mentioned it in our anime discussion. It's not even that hype of an anime. Like, it's not one of these animes that's, oh my God, I need to watch the next episode. And it's like 112 episodes or something like that. And we just completely binged it because it was interesting rather than it was good, if that makes sense. I mean, ultimately weighing it up, it's probably shite because it just takes so long to get to the point, and then it just ends up going off in so many different story threads. But I just binge things and I can't help it. But I can play Dokkan while I'm doing all this because Dokkan's a game that you can just kind of press a couple of buttons, look at what you're watching, press a couple of buttons, and I think that's why I like Dokkan so much, because you can play it however you want, but you can really relax while you're playing it more than anything else.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly what it is, and I want to say that's why so many of us are into gotcha games because, yeah, dude, my biggest thing it's Netflix. I'm the same way. I was the same way until I started doing YouTube and my obsessive personality. You've seen my uploads all the time.
Yeah.
But when I wasn't doing this, yeah, I would just watch I would just watch a lot of serial killer stuff. When I had cable, I would always watch like a TV network called ID, which was they would just have like a bunch of different murder scenes, murder topics, and stuff like that. I don't know why it's so
It's
interesting watching
amazing
all
how
that.
that is fascinating. I was going to say, it's like you said, you've not been doing it much recently. So have you not seen that most recent one that's on Netflix about the I think it's called American Murders or something like that. And it's
Well,
about the
the other
guy.
thing too, it's unfortunately I'm not sure if you knew this, but like the America Netflix and like other country Netflixes are different, which is so stupid. So
No,
like,
that's definitely on there. The one I'm talking about is definitely on
oh
there.
yeah,
Yeah, it's about. I don't want to spoil it,
no,
but
but
it's about.
what is it called again? The title?
Hang on, I'll Google it now. Hang on, 2 seconds. I think it might be called an American Murderer or something like that. 2 seconds.
Because I
Netflix.
could put that on tonight while I'm editing something. An
It's
American,
sad though. I mean, it's
an
sad.
American pick. No, not an American pickle. I would
It's
imagine.
called it's called American Murderer: The Family Next Door.
Oh yes, 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 yes. I watched 40. I didn't watch the full thing, and I kind of had it playing in the background. But yeah, that's the story of like the family, like the mom and the kids who disappeared, right?
It's fucking sad, man. It's
Yeah, I
like by
gotta.
the end of it, it's just some. I mean, I know obviously this is the whole point of a psychopath. You can't put you can't, if you're not a psychopath, you can't put your mind into a psychopath, if that makes sense. So trying for a rational brain to try and like come to terms with why you would do something like that, you can't do it because you're not a psychopath. Does that make sense? Do you know what I mean? So it's like you watch it and you're like, how could somebody do this? But you're not a psychopath, so you're going to think that. Do you know what I mean? Whereas there's probably people out there watching it that are psychos going, "Oh, I would do that." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Complete. Yeah, I hope none of. Yeah, well, let's not do that.
No, but you know what? You know what it is, mate. I'm not. You're not. But there's a there's a small chance that maybe one or two of your listeners might be. Who knows?
You never know, dude. You never know who's listening. You never know. Yeah, I mean, it's
Exactly. They
scary.
might be. They might be trying to Google your location right now. Come and see you. Ooh.
Ooh, yeah, no, no. Hopefully that doesn't happen. I mean, I live in a pretty rural area, so I hope.
There's been some horror stories with YouTubers as well. Like people finding out where they live and stuff like that, and becoming obsessed with them. And oh god, man, I get wrapped up in some things. Sometimes I watch these lesser known stories on YouTube that people tell you about psycho stalkers that go after YouTubers and stuff like that. That's why you're like, nah, don't use facecam, man.
Yeah, I'm not really into showing my face at all or giving out like my name mainly. Um, same. It's kind of like the same deal. It's like you never know. And you kind of have to like
Yeah,
just protect your identity, especially since I work for like a pretty like I work like I work for a pretty big corporation, so obviously like I wouldn't want that to ever get um, I don't want any issues with that. So yeah, no, I think keeping yourself private and just keeping yourself as a voice on YouTube is like the best way to go.
I agree.
Unless you're like vlogging or you're a finance YouTuber and you're making the real money where it doesn't matter. Where like example like David Dobrik, obviously he's making like he's already made millions of dollars. He's good for the rest of his life, and he's been like on Jimmy Kimmel. He's been on the news. Like in that sense, it's okay to use your name. But when you're like a niche, even like Rhyme Style, right? I mean, he has a million subs, which is fantastic, right? It's huge, but it's like he's still like why would like I don't think he would ever want to put out his name out there. Like I don't think guys who make gaming videos should, right?
Oh, he has though. Everybody knows his name's Dino.
Well, his name's Dino, but like we like not like his last name.
Yeah, yeah.
I think first name is fine. Like I'm pretty open about like my first name. I'll say it's like yeah, it's Richie. I that like
I
I'm
thought it
pretty.
was. I thought his name was Dino Rhymestyle. You've bust my bubble here. I was going to write him fan mail to Dino Rhymestyle.
But yeah, like I think first name is fine. Like we know like Truth is first name. He's mentioned it a couple times. It's Nick. First name is fine, but last name's not. I could never give that one out. And
Yeah.
like you
I, think
just
I can't recall it off the top of my head, but I think PewDiePie's Felix something in it.
yeah, he's Felix. Now you could find his full name. At a certain point, it's hard to hide your identity, right?
Yeah.
You could probably hide it to like you're like in a couple millions, but when you hit like PewDiePie's, like no, you cannot hide your
Yeah.
like it's Felix something. I forgot. I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but I have it in my mind.
Felix something Swedish.
Yeah, yeah. It's a distinct last name, which I guess that's a good thing about us too. Like, I have a very distinct last name as well. So for any way to really try searching that up, yeah, it's gonna be very hard because I guess a lot of people don't know this. Some people do. I'm actually German. Like I'm mainly German, and I probably don't sound anything German, but actually my entire dad side of the family came here to the States during the Holocaust, and yeah, that whole side of the family never like I'm the first one to come from the family who like my dad didn't marry someone who was like German or like European, so I'm German and I'm actually Cuban. Those are like the two sides I have in me.
Maybe that's what I says to you before. What did I say to you? I says to you, your accent reminds me a little bit of geekdom. Geekdom's Cuban.
Yeah,
He
yeah,
doesn't live in
he's
Cuba.
no, he doesn't. He doesn't. Yeah, I
Maybe
mean,
that's where that comes from.
it could. I definitely see what you mean because a lot of my friends kind of sound the same as well. Like the thing is, like Cubans don't really have for example, like Mexicans have a very distinct accent. People from Spain have a very distinct accent. Cubans kind of are the ghetto Spanish.
Right.
I could say that with confidence because it is. There's a lot of Spanish words that we use that aren't actually part of the actual Spanish vocabulary.
Yeah.
So maybe like are the accent that we obtained was just trying to be American, but like my mom doesn't have much of an accent either. My dad obviously doesn't. I mean, he just sounds like an American guy. And
Yeah.
then um, I don't know.
No,
Yeah,
I know how you. I know how you feel, mate. Because Scottish people don't have accents either.
yeah. Some of
Mate,
my family
you
members
guys,
have German
you
accents, but it never picked up with me.
The crazy thing is, I speak to you guys in America, and you've got no problem understanding me. But I talk to an English person, and they're like, "Sorry, what? What?" And they're like, "Fuck, I'm speaking the same. I live like fucking about 2 hours up the road from you, and you can't understand me. Seriously, I don't know why. I seem to have an easier time talking to Americans than I do talking to English people. I don't know what that's all about, but they act like Scottish people speak a different fucking language, and we literally live a few miles up the road from them. Because if you listen to me speaking, and then you obviously just interviewed, bomb my brain, Mass Ninja. I mean, you wouldn't think we lived in the same country. Do you know what I mean? Like, he just sounds so fucking different from me, and he probably lives about three hours away from me.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. No, you and Mass definitely have very kind of similar.
No, we
Uh,
don't. No, we
no,
don't.
no, but you could tell that it's some of the same country at least.
England and Scotland are basically not the same country. We are the same country, right? We're all British, but honestly, English people just act completely different from Scottish people. I'm sorry, Mass Ninja, if you listen to this, but you're like an alien to me.
Yeah, yeah, I remember you've mentioned that a bunch of times that like
He doesn't even drink good tea. I mean, I was talking to him about tea. This will mean nothing to you, right? But you know that whole meme about British people liking tea.
yeah.
Um, and he promotes his cups. I'll buy my cups to drink your tea. I was having a conversation with him about tea on Twitter, and he buys supermarket own brand tea. Like, what the fuck, mate? Come on, you're meant to be English. You're meant to drink good tea, but nah. But he drinks the cheapest shitest tea you can get. So I'm calling him out on this podcast for his tea drinking.
Oh, I'll
It's
make sure to tag
poor.
him and say, hey, there was some mean
Yeah.
things said about you, Mass.
He knows. I told him. I told him on Twitter. I'm not impressed with his tea drinking
Oh,
at all.
I drink some crappy tea too. Don't worry. I buy a
You probably
green.
drink coffee, man. Use Americans are all about your coffee.
I was a coffee head, but I had to get off it because I was obsessed with coffee and I was drinking it like I was drinking it not for caffeine purposes. I was just drinking it for the taste at some point. So I was like, what the hell's the purpose of this? And I got too addicted to caffeine. So I've been off it for a while, and now I just drink decaf green tea a lot, and that's
I do that with energy drinks. I don't drink them for the energy. I drink them for the taste, and
yeah, that's what
it's like
happened, dude. Tea
you
just
end up
kind
drinking
of
like you end up drinking like 5 or 6 cans a day of energy juice, and you're just like, it doesn't even help keep me awake anymore.
yeah, no, I completely agree. That's why I kind of got off it because I was like, nah, let me just drink green tea for the most part because why not? And it's
So
healthy.
while we were talking, I've just looked on Twitter because I wanted to double check a name, but it's completely irrelevant. There's something at the side of the screen that has just reminded me of something I wanted to talk about with you. Back to Spider-Man. So obviously you've seen the same rumors circulating. I know you
Well,
don't want to
no,
believe them.
no.
I
Well,
know you don't, but
well,
let's just humor them for a
no, they
minute, right?
deleted the
Let's just
post.
humor
They
them.
deleted the post.
No, it's right here. It's trending. I'm looking just now. It's 47K. It's other sites are picking up on it now. So let's just talk about the possibility. How good would it be if that actually happens?
Well,
And
if it actually happens, it's gonna break the internet. Because Tobey Maguire has been basically retired. I mean, he does a little. I mean, he does some movies here and there, but he's really just he got his millions and he stepped out. But if they did do that, what they can do is they could do. My idea was always like they should always just redo the Spider Verse, but in live action. But
well, that's what they looked like they were going to do. I mean, that like last year, the year before, they were talking about that's what we're going to get. We're going to get Spider Verse live action version.
yeah, like if they
But
could get
obviously,
Toby for like the older Peter Parker and like make him seem like old, that like him and MJ
but it
broke
kind of
up.
was. If you watch that Spider Verse movie, he kind of is. Like,
Yeah,
if you
yeah,
watch that movie, there's scenes of the car coming flying through the window. Like, a lot of the callbacks in that movie of fat old Peter Parker are basically Sam Raimi's Spider Man. They don't directly say that's who it is, but there's just so many of the scenes that make you go, well, that's clearly supposed to be Spider Man, as in Sam Raimi's Spider Man. Like, it's
yeah,
pretty
yeah.
clear if you're watching the Spider Verse, that's what it is.
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I agree. I think that they definitely did that on purpose, and I do hope they actually are able to get. I don't think Toby would say no. Like, why would he say no to coming back for a Spider-Man movie? And what they can do is, if they really want to set up a Spider-Verse, they could actually do, like, they could kill Toby in this next movie, which would be kind of sad, but they could. You know, they kill off Toby. He passes on the torch to our boy Tom. Or
No,
actually,
wait a minute. He can't pass on the torch. Tom Hardy is already Tom Hardy. Tom Holland is already Spider-Man, so there's no passing of the torch happening. That's not happening,
that's when
right?
they could bring in Miles and do that if they
I
really
don't want
want to
them to
do
do
that.
Miles.
I
I
don't
don't
know
want them
how
to do
Miles
Miles.
would work right now, but they could if they really want to push that narrative. Or they could
See,
just say screw Spider Verse and just make it a 3 Spider-Man movie where they team up and they fight Electro. Um, a Venom would be pretty cool because
oh yeah.
they already
See,
talked
this is
about
where I
bringing
light up.
Venom in.
This is where I light up your comment section, and I apologise just now for this. Right, I can't help this. It may be my age. I don't know. Right. To me, to me, Spider-Man is Peter Parker. Right. I like Miles. I like Miles as a second Spider-Man. I don't like replacing Peter Parker with Miles. I don't like that. I'm happy with it to be two of them. I'm fine with that. But don't. It's like killing Bruce Wayne and making Tim Drake become Batman full time. No, no, no. Let Tim Drake be, or Tim Drake. Did I get that right? No, Dick Grayson. Sorry. Um, like let him be Nightwing. Let him be Robin. Whatever. He doesn't need to become Batman. And it's same as Miles. Let Miles be Miles Morales, Spider Man. That's absolutely fine. But he doesn't need to replace Peter Parker, Spider Man. I don't like the whole just changing things. You know what I mean? It's not that I don't like change. It's just Peter Parker is Spider Man. He's been through too much as a character, and he is Spider Man. The only time that I think it made sense for him to be replaced, I don't know. Did you ever read the comics?
A little bit, but not like
Did you read? Did
religiously.
you read? Did you read Ultimate Spider Man at all?
No,
So you don't know how it ended,
no.
right? I mean, spoiler alert, if you've not read the end of Ultimate Spider-Man, I'm about to spoil it. It's a 15-year-old comic though, so I don't really think it's classed as a spoiler at
Yeah,
this stage.
I wouldn't consider it a spoiler at this point.
Peter Parker dies. He's killed by the Green Goblin. Like flat out, Norman Osborn kills him. He's dead. Completely dead. And Miles sees it all happening. And that's how Miles is basically born. Miles has already been bitten by a spider at this point, and Miles doesn't know what to do with it. And you basically find out Miles was there to witness it all happening, and that's how essentially he decided to become Spider-Man. Well, not essentially, things happen in between, right? But it worked. It felt right. They didn't do it to create Miles. They were ending that series, and then later down the line, they used it as a catalyst for Miles to come about, which is fine. And then Miles became so popular, they merged him and from the Ultimate Universe into the 616 universe, and that's how there's now Miles running about in the same universe as Peter Parker, which is fine. Like it's completely fine with me because I lived through the Clone Wars. I read the Clone Wars when they came out, when you had Ben Reilly and stuff like that cutting about, and people were raging. I mean, in the 90s, people were like, if the internet was properly big then, you would have seen all about it, right? But in the 90s, they basically tried to replace Peter Parker with Ben Reilly, which was a blonde haired version of, funnily enough, in the Spider Man movie, the blonde haired one that dies in Spider Man in the Spider Verse, like you know what I'm talking about. He's got blonde hair. More or less, that's a callback to Ben Reilly, which they basically tried to replace him before, and it didn't work. And I'm just really worried that Marvel are going to go the whole hog and just make this the last film with Tom Holland because they're scared that they can't keep coming to a deal with Sony. Because obviously, we nearly never got this movie. You remember all that stuff last year where Marvel weren't signing the deal, Sony weren't signing the deal. We didn't think we were going to get a proper Spider-Man 3 set in the MCU. I'm just worried that they don't think they're going to be able to keep getting Spider-Man in these MCU films, and they're going to do some kind of wizardy shit with Doctor Strange to basically put Miles in place of Peter, and I just really hope they don't do it.
Yeah, I think this is actually the last movie with Tom
It's the
Holland.
last one. No, it's not.
No,
Don't
I
say
think it's
that.
the last one with Marvel. If I was,
It's
it's the last one with
for what I've
the contract ends.
yeah, but they do believe that they might. from what I've been able to gather, it's kind of going on to a rolling basis where they probably will do another one, but it's just not like before where they've signed X number of movies. But then everything's different now as well with all this COVID and everything else. You're going to be a lot longer before you get the next Avengers movie, whatever that turns out to be. Because as far as I know, Thor's and Guardians, which after Endgame he needs to be after Endgame and Infinity War, he needs to be in Guardians of the Galaxy. I mean, I take it you've seen Infinity War and you've seen Endgame. That's yeah, you've seen them, yeah.
Yeah, of course, man.
And obviously, the scenes with Thor and the Guardians are just they're, they're brilliant. They're so good, and I just feel that they need to put Thor into the Guardians of the Galaxy now. And if it doesn't happen, I'm going to be so gutted. I just think that James Gunn can do such a good job with it, and Guardians was supposed to be out like a year or two ago, but obviously because they fired James Gunn and then all that stuff happened, it's been delayed like God knows how long. But when it comes out, Thor needs to be in that movie, man. I need more Thor. The first two Thor films were terrible, but Ragnarok was absolutely fantastic, and Thor is just such a better character now than he was when he started out in the MCU.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it would be cool. I think Marvel's has been kind of quiet, right? For the most part, I think it's just mainly, after I think it's we're going into what is it? Stage 5 or no, is it phase 5 or 6 after with the Spider-Man 3 movie?
Five, five, I think, because Phase Four was the Endgame.
And no,
Endgame basically.
and it ended with Spider-Man.
Oh yeah,
Was the
no,
end of
no, no, no,
phase
no, no,
4.
no. That no, is that not the start of the next phase? I think that was the
I thought
start
it,
of it. Was it not?
I thought it was the end of phase 4 because like it closes off like Iron Man's legacy, but the movie that I'm most hyped about right now, it's not really Spider-Man 3. Even though I am pretty hyped for that one, but no, my big movie that I'm like, okay, this is gonna kill it. It's the new Doctor Strange movie. I think
Oh yeah, that'll be good.
just
That'll be good.
because of the name, the multi universes, I
Yep,
think we're
yep.
about to enter a new era where we're gonna start seeing insane amount of crossovers from everywhere. So I think Spider-Man 3 is probably gonna be like the opening for that. Like maybe
Mhm.
like they'll introduce like the two other Spider-Mans and like once we hit the multiverse, people have even talked about they're like, man, we could even potentially see Iron Man come back from a different universe, and I'm like, oh man.
Well, do you know that Doctor Strange is being directed by Sam Raimi?
Yep, and Sam Raimi's a super cool
So
dude.
what I was thinking was, if Tobey Maguire doesn't come back for this movie, he might end up being in. I mean, he might end up being in Doctor Strange. Thingy, what's his name? I forget his name right now. Evil Dead. What's his bloody name? Ash for the Evil Dead. I forgot his name right now. Forget
Uh,
his name. You know who I'm talking about, but don't you?
I think.
Ash Evil Dead. I'll get his name right now. It is Bruce Campbell. So Bruce Campbell was obviously in Spider-Man 1. He was the ring announcer in the wrestling match. In Spider-Man 2, he's the guy that stops Peter getting into the theatre. And in Spider-Man 3, he's the waiter that helps bring the engagement ring to the table. Sam Raimi always gets him to appear in his movies. So I think he'll end up being in Doctor Strange somehow. And if he gets him back, I'm thinking he might, because it's a Marvel movie, and he likes to try and get cameos from things he's done before. I've got a funny feeling he'll try and work something to maybe get like James Franco in it, maybe get Tobey Maguire and stuff like that into it in some capacity. Even if they're not playing their characters from Spider-Man, I think he'll get them in somehow to play like a cameo of some description in the movie, which will be fun. But with the whole universe jumping, multiverse jumping, Doctor Strange could quite easily jump into the old Sam Raimi Spider Man. That would be cool. And I've said this to you before. If when you jump in a multiverse, if time is not a restriction, I really hope they somehow find a way to bring Willem Dafoe back. Because Willem Dafoe as the Green Goblin was just amazing for me. I love that. I think that was so good. Because Green Goblin is my favourite Spider Man villain by a
No,
mile.
and yeah, dude. And William Dafoe is amazing. I'm not sure. Did you ever watch
Oh yeah.
his? I guess his most recent movie was The Lighthouse. I think. He did a fantastic job in that one.
Is that the one he done with
Robert
that
Pattinson.
dweeb from? I don't like him.
You don't
I
like
just don't
Robert?
like him. I don't get. Mate, he was a sparkly vampire. What do you want me to
No,
say,
no,
man?
no, no, no,
Twilight
no,
was
no,
the
no, no.
biggest
Hold
trash
on.
ever.
Robert Pattinson is a monster of an actor. Twilight is definitely like the only movie that he's done that's like eh. But dude, trust me when I say this. Robert is a extraordinary powerhouse of an actor. So there's a movie on Netflix that I want you to watch later. It's a movie with Robert Pattinson and Tom Holland, which are Tom Holland from Spider-Man. And
Oh, is that evil film?
yes, yes.
I've seen that advertised on my feed. It keeps popping up. Is that good?
Yeah, yeah, dude. No, Tom and Robert. If you ever want to see a movie where you want to see Robert Pattinson just showing off his tremendous acting capabilities, watch that one because it's like a completely different person. And The Lighthouse as well. If I'm correct, but I'm pretty sure Robert Pattinson was in The Lighthouse. Let me just double check that
Yeah,
for
he
you.
was. No, he was. He was.
He
He
was.
was.
He,
I can confirm
okay,
that he was.
okay.
Yeah.
Which that movie is insane, and I mean, he did it with William Dafoe, and honestly, like the synergy they had in that movie was amazing. And
From what I've heard about that film, that whole film is basically just the two of them in it.
yeah, yeah, it was just them two, and it was a great movie, great film. No, but I'm telling you, Robert Pattinson, dude, he's such a good actor. So many people like hate on him because of the Twilight, which I understand, and he even understands that. And he's just he's a fucking man of man, dude. Like I mean, he's gonna get his own Batman movie, which they showed
I
him
was
in
going
his
to say,
costume, and he looks pretty good in it. If you ever saw it.
he- a lot of that was filmed in Glasgow. They're still filming bits of it, but a lot of that was filmed in Glasgow,
Yeah,
like my hometown. And I mean, I'll give him a shot. He looks a bit weird, like for Batman. They're obviously going for quite a skinny, slim-looking Batman. You
yeah.
know,
This is gonna be like I think it's like the beginning stages of Batman, or I did hear he has been bulking up for the role.
mhm.
So we have to see what he's gonna look like, after he finishes up like his bulk and stuff like that. But nah, dude, I am a
I feel like I know the answer to this question before I ask you,
yeah. What's up?
because who's your favorite Batman?
Uh, that's rough. Like from like the main movies, right?
From all of them?
Well, my favorite Batman movie was the second one. Just to
Batman Returns.
Batman, yeah, that was probably my favorite one.
So is Keaton your favorite Batman?
I would say so.
I thought you were going to say. I thought you were going to say Bale. Keaton's my favorite Batman. I thought you were going to say Bale.
Yeah, no, no, I liked his stuff a lot. That was like the only one I really kept up with. I haven't kept up with the newer Batman stuff in a while, but yeah, I mean, I like those movies a lot. I thought they were really action packed. I liked him as an actor. The Batman movies, I don't keep up as much as I do with like the Marvel stuff. Unfortunately, my boys love it. Like my friend always like grills me on, the different Batmans, Superman, stuff like that. And unfortunately, I just don't keep up that much with the DC stuff. I do now, in the sense of like, I'm excited for Suicide Squad 2. I'm excited for the new Batman stuff. If they ever decide to make a Joker 2, I'm super down for that. But I got into like the DC stuff kind of late in the game. But I'm slowly trying to watch more stuff like that. It's just, bro, I mean, Marvel had 23 superhero movies or like 26 or something like that. And keeping up to date with all those for the last like, 7 years basically has been pretty rough. Like, I don't, you get it gets hard to keep up with like the DC stuff as much. Even though I like the DC heroes more, I just think Warner Brothers were, I don't know, kind of killing, the DC movies. But I think we're in a new era because I'm not sure if you ever saw the Harley Quinn movie, but it was pretty good. I like the Harley Quinn movie.
What? Birds of Prey?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh my god, it was awful.
You didn't like it, man.
Terrible, man.
Well, I
It's
want to
such
bang
a
out
bad
Margot
movie.
Robbie, so.
Oh, well, I
She
can
is
get, I can
beautiful.
understand it from that point of view, but the film was, it was dog shit, man. It was actually terrible. Fucking hated that film. I just didn't like it at all. I mean, I mean, I like Ewan McGregor. That's something. But I hated that film. I thought the film was actually terrible. I hated Suicide Squad as well.
All
Uh,
right, well, Suicide Squad, I can't blame you, but
Joker,
I like. Okay, tell me you like
Joker,
Joker.
I feel, yeah, I like it, but I think it was massively overrated. I like it. I don't think it was a cinematic masterpiece that people talk about. I mean, there was so many parallels with Taxi Driver and stuff like that that I'm like, yeah, but I mean, it's not this ground-breaking piece of cinema that people keep talking about. There was all these hyperbolic stories you would see on Twitter of, oh, the media are worried that this film's going to make people have an emotional reaction. This film's going to make people go out and shoot up a cinema. What are you watching? It's like, no, it's not, man. Like, people just overhype things sometimes, man. And I think that film was a bit overhyped. It was a good film. Just let me reiterate. I think it was a good film, but I think it gets talked about a bit too highly, if you ask me. But that's just me. Like, if you took that film and didn't put Joker in it, it would still work as a film. I just felt like they added the Joker element to that film rather than it was a Joker film, if that makes sense. Like, that film would have literally just worked as any man struggling with mental illness. It didn't necessarily feel like it was about a Joker character. It was about somebody that was struggling with serious mental illness, which was good. Don't get me wrong. I just feel like the thought for that movie came first, and then the idea to make it a Joker movie came second, if that makes sense. That's how I felt about watching it. Oh, you don't like that? You don't agree with that at all?
No, I'm completely understand where you're coming from because when I got my dad to watch it, he wasn't too big on it either. But
I think it
I
might depend on what you've seen before it. If you had seen a lot of the films that it drew parallels from, then I think
I
maybe it would resonate
I
less with you.
I actually loved Taxi Driver. I think that
Yeah,
was the
Taxi
one
Driver.
thing. I saw Taxi Driver before I saw Joker, and I loved it. And I saw like all the similarities, and I actually enjoyed it because again, Taxi Driver was just so good, right? I thought that was a fantastic film. So I get it, but dude, I loved Joker so much. Like it just, I mean, I resonated with it because I felt like I felt a lot of the things that they talked about. I mean, it was a very emotional film.
Hmm.
In the sense that people going out and shooting up places, yeah, that was a little silly. Because what people don't understand is people started doing that without watching a movie, and we had the worst riots that we've ever seen in the states. Just what, like 2 months
Oh yeah,
ago, burning
yeah.
police stations, killing each other, going crazy, people getting shot everywhere. Just
Mental stuff.
yeah. I'm like, and you guys are complaining about a movie? Like, are you guys crazy?
No,
To me that argument never makes sense. Like the whole GTA thing, it's like, oh, you're instilling ideas into people's heads of going
yeah,
out, and I'm like, but like people have these thoughts without knowing what GTA is. It's in our like unfortunately, some of our human nature is very dark. Some people are just
yeah.
very angry. They're very hateful. They want to do that. I mean, most serial killers, for example, Jones. Is that his name? What's the dude's name where he said he was gay. He slept with a bunch of guys, and then he would bring them back to his apartment, and like he would just take them out. I forgot exactly. Halmer, something like that.
Oh, oh, uh,
Yeah, okay? You see what I'm saying?
he
Well,
wears
that guy,
he wears glasses, doesn't he?
huh? Yeah, the one
He
who
wears
died in
glasses.
prison.
Um, oh, is that not the MDK guy? Like,
No, it's the nerdy guy. They made a movie with him, and Zach Efron was in it. He played uh
no,
this
Zac Efron. Zac Efron played. Was Tino play not Manson? The other one. What's his?
the gay one, the guy who slept with a bunch of guys, and he'll bring him back to his
Aye, but
apartment.
that wasn't who. Zac Efron played Ted Bundy.
Ted Bundy was the one I'm thinking about, isn't he?
Ted Bundy wasn't gay. Ted Bundy killed women.
Okay, so who's the one who was gay?
Gay. See, God knows what's going to come up when I type this in. Killer, gay serial killer.
Because
Oh,
he
Jeffrey Dahmer.
There we go, Jeffrey. There we go. For example, like he mentioned in every interview that
Yeah,
he was
he was a cannibal.
yeah, as a kid, he just felt like that. He was like, when he was like a child, early stages, he always mentioned, he's like, yeah, I always had, like sexual fantasies of like,
Yeah, he
of,
was born in 1960 and he made his first kill in 1978. So he made his first kill when he was 18.
Yep, yep. There was actually a full movie on that on Netflix. And
Yeah,
yeah,
I think I watched that with Julie. I think we watched that because, like I said, like I kept putting serial killer stuff on. Like
yeah, yeah,
Netflix has just got too many serial killer things.
yep. But yeah, exactly. I mean, he was just born like that, so you know, people just don't really understand that.
I think there's
And
a more modern guy that's done that as well. That he was using social media like dating apps, and he was doing the same thing. Fairly
yeah,
sure I
yeah,
seen that.
and these guys. Look at that. A lot of these big serial killers came from an era where GTA and Joker weren't out, right? So
Yeah,
people don't understand that it's just like, yo, I've been playing GTA since I was 9. I've never had an urge to kill nobody or run anybody over or do any of that nonsense. It's a
yeah,
stupid game, right? When I watched The Purge, I didn't get any symptoms of, oh, I want to go out there and start killing and breaking things down. It's like, nah, dude, it's not like that. And
yeah,
it's a silly argument that I feel like most soccer moms would make. I get there's some psychology that might get into your brain that it's like, oh, it sprouts an idea, but it's like you should be able to put down the idea. Don't
yeah,
let it
yeah,
manifest.
yeah.
Like, you should be an adult and be like, well, yeah, that would be crazy. Okay, and then put it away. Like,
Well,
you know.
well, the thing is, but I won't lie. When I was young, I did used to watch Jean Claude Van Damme movies and think I could go and kick people's ass, and I couldn't.
Well, I'm sure you kill a lot. I'm sure you kicked a lot of ass in Scotland
Nah, go try that again. Go for it. I like that. Go try it again.
for the Scotland.
Scotland, is that the way you're going to do it? Oh my god! I mean, I'd probably give that at least. I mean, that's actually better than some actors I've heard on TV try to do a Scottish accent. So I'll give you pass marks on that. That was
I
quite
gotta
funny.
practice a bit more, bro. Toon Rami, he opened up my eyes, and I definitely gotta
I
try
know.
it.
I dare say, if I was doing a race with him, 100%, I know that before the end of it, he would be constantly trying to copy my accent. And that would just be something that was happening
Oh yeah, yeah,
um,
he would. Yeah, he
all
would.
the time. There's a new serial killer movie. I don't know if it's a movie or a TV show, but you know the actor David Tennant.
Yes.
It's called Dennis Nielsen, and he's a gay killer. He eats them as well, and supposedly his portrayal of him is like actually scarily spot on. I don't know how you'll get it in America. It'll probably get added to Netflix at some point later, but it's supposed to be really, really good. I mean, you say it's really good to talk about people killing people, do you know what I mean? But supposedly he does a really good job at portraying this serial killer in this show. But what's it called, really? My wife's getting me the name of it. She just, because we're talking about serial killer stuff, she walks over with her phone to show me.
That's
Wait a
funny.
minute, it's called. It says serial killer drama. It's available on Amazon Prime. It's on Amazon Prime, so you should be able to watch it. It's just called Dennis Nielsen. What? Oh, it's called Des. Right, it's called Des, and it's on Amazon Prime.
All right,
So
I
they're
definitely gotta check that out.
plug for Amazon Prime. But yeah, I mean, if you like that sort of a not like it. You know what I'm talking about. I mean, saying that you like serial killers just makes you seem weird, but I think people know what we're talking about. It's interesting. It's interesting to try and understand these people's mindset because we don't feel that way. And to us, it seems strange how anybody can feel that way. So it's like looking through the curtain at something that you're just never going to experience yourself, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, no, I completely understand. I mean, it is interesting, but yeah, it's screwed up at the same time because it makes me a bit sad. But I just realized the time. We have just passed an hour and 8 minutes, my friend. We have had a
Oh,
very good discussion. This is actually more of like the more comfortable ones I've had. You being able to talk about just literally anything, and I hope to get more of these. And think I am pretty
was it?
close.
Were we supposed to be keeping on topic in some description? I
No,
apologize.
not at all, not at all. But usually it's like a more like, we just talk about like interest. But I love this, and I think I might incorporate more of just talking about crazy shit like this into other ones. Like, it's a cool idea, man. Because yeah, I've been watching serial killer shit for a long ass time, and I don't really talk to many people about it because you don't know who's
You
into
don't want
it.
to seem weird.
Yeah, and I mean, I watch it. I'm a big fan of watching those criminal investigation shows and stuff like that. And I haven't talked to nobody about superhero shit on here, so it's been pretty cool to talk about that. But we have hit our time to close shop. Do you have any closing statements you want to give, my friend?
I'm not a serial killer. I'm not a murderer, and Spider-Man is the best superhero.
I agree with
And buy a
both.
PS5 so you can play the new Spider-Man game. Well, you
Yeah.
don't need. You can play it on. You can play it on PS4 as well, but still.
All right, all right. Sounds good. Sounds good to me. But all right, guys, hope you guys enjoyed this Real Talk podcast. It was a very interesting one to say the least. I'll be dropping Hayzink's
Hayzinks? Did you just make
Hayzink
me German?
Hayzink
Hayzink.
Hayzink, right?
Aye.
All right.
What do you mean, right? How many collabs have I done with you? How often do I talk to you? And you're like, is it actually Hayzink? I'm like, man, I'm part German. I'll call you Hayzink.
Yeah. Hayzink sounds pretty good. But all right, guys,
Aye.
I'll drop all his stuff in the description. We'll definitely have more collabs in the future. Hope you guys enjoyed this podcast. We'll definitely plan a bit more for the future, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.
Bye.